And what were you doing before that? So 3 years in Medellin, and before going there?
I was in Ukraine for 6 years. And,
were you with the British Council then as well?
Yeah, been with the British Council since 1987. And I've been in lots of countries. Morocco, I started in Morocco, then Dubai. After Dubai, Saudi Arabia briefly. And then my love affair started with the former Soviet countries. I was in Azerbaijan for 4 years, Russia for 3 years, and then Ukraine.
Were you originally a teacher, or did you come in at managerial level? I
was a teacher, yeah.
Did you miss it?
I do miss it, but I mean, this is the first place I haven't actually done any teaching. So I'd like to try and get back into it somehow without annoying teachers, because what I might be doing is taking away jobs from people who might not otherwise have them. So
right.
Maybe it's a standby or something.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
Cambridge.
Cambridge?
Yeah.
Cambridge city centre? Or the surrounding countryside?
A village about 3 miles out of the town centre. Yeah.
Okay. What's been the most difficult thing about... You haven't been here very long, and you've come from quite a diverse background of travelling, but what's been the most difficult thing so far of settling into life here in Spain?
Spain, without a doubt, has been the bureaucracy, getting the pieces of paper.
Worse than
worse than, well, I mean, my experience in other countries where, I mean, Russia and Ukraine, even Azerbaijan, the British Council was semi-diplomatic. And so it was a lot easier because the embassy would do the paperwork for you. Here, This is my first time as a common, ordinary citizen in the European Union.
So you're doing everything yourself?
Exactly, and it has, especially with my wife's from Ukraine, and they have different rules for people who aren't in the European Union, so that makes it even more complicated. Yeah, so it has been difficult.
Can you briefly say what you do on a day-to-day basis here as a centre manager?
Okay, well, I think I'm responsible for everything that goes on in this building. That sounds very grand, but it's the truth. I mean, basically, if anything goes wrong, it's my fault. So, because the centre has been running so successfully in this building for the last more than 10 years now, then that's pretty much routine. So what I'm supposed to do is guarantee to our lords and masters in Madrid that we're going to make as much money as they want us to make. I have to guarantee that the quality of the teaching is as good as it should be, that we're offering the right training plans to our teachers, generally overseeing strategy for the Valencia Teaching Centre.
And within that framework of responsibilities and duties, what do you enjoy most about what you do?
Well, what I recently did was I had to go, we did an audit on the quality of the teaching in the teaching centre, and for me that was brilliant because I think I must have seen half of the teachers, both here and in our German school, the young learner teaching, and I can say, hand on heart, the quality was absolutely excellent. I saw some fantastic lessons. I saw happy, motivated, interested students in the classes, and I know we're expensive, but I think it demonstrated that we are giving a first-class experience to students.
That's very good to hear. Yeah. And what would you say you dislike about the job?
Well, I mean...
Is it the number crunching?
It is the number crunching. You get an email from Madrid. It's happened, for example, it happened on Friday last week. We're about to close because we close early on Fridays in the summer. And I get an email at 2:30. We're supposed to leave the office at 2:45 saying, oh no, the numbers are wrong, you've got to do this and this. I just didn't have time to do it. That kind of thing, yeah, that's frustrating, but it doesn't happen that often.
Tony, what advice would you give Spanish speakers who are trying to learn English?
From what I've seen so far here, I would say try to take more risks. I think because working in Latin America, where it's the same language, Spanish, Castellano, but Latin Americans seem to have much more confidence in speaking. They're not afraid of making themselves look a bit foolish sometimes.
Do they have the opportunity to speak there? Are there places where they can practice?
Or
are you speaking about inside the classroom?
I'm talking about inside the classroom. Okay. So inside the classroom, I'd say take more risks. Don't be shy. Don't feel afraid of making yourself look a bit stupid, because everybody learning a language has to make themselves look a bit stupid. I mean, it's part of the experience, I think. Outside the classroom, I guess look at websites like yours. try to look at the British Council Learning English tools. We've got lots of different websites with huge amounts of resources on them. So, I mean, there's no excuse for not being able to practice outside the classroom anymore.
Very good resources, the British Council website for children too, I noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
There seems to be a lot of emphasis now on technology in the classroom, and a lot of pressure, for want of a better word, on teachers to use the technology. What's your opinion of technology in general, and how does it affect your job?
Well, it affects my job in that you've got no excuse to do anything late, because you've got people reminding you by all different media that you've got a deadline to meet. And when I first started teaching, we were still sending letters to people across the world, so you didn't. But now it's like you've got 2 seconds to finish this. But that's my job in the classroom. I think technology has opened up a wealth of opportunities for both learners and teachers. Of course, even though there is this technology, I still think it's important that the most important thing in the classroom is the relationship between the teacher and the student. Absolutely. And I've seen both extremes. For example, when I was doing the observations, I just talked about some teachers hardly touched the board or any of the technology available to them. Some used it quite extensively, and I think that all our teachers should have at least the same proficiency with the technology in order to offer the students the experience if they want it. However, not in this centre, but in other countries I've worked in, I have seen lessons where instead of having a teacher-centred lesson, you have an interactive whiteboard-centred lesson, and everything's on the board, and the students are staring at the board all this and not interacting with each other, and that's the opposite extreme, and that's not good either.
But don't you think there's sort of a student expectation on the centre and on the teacher to use technology in the class? I think recently did a survey, I think, on iPad use or something similar, and I was surprised that student expectations in my class anyway seemed to be lower than I would have said in regards to what they expect.
Well, I can understand that, because if you think of where our students come from, what they do, a lot of them are students. A lot of them are young professionals who probably sit in front of a computer all day long.
But they want to escape from it.
Exactly, yeah, I think that's true, yeah.
I've noticed you here a lot, especially Saturday mornings. You seem to be here a lot, but what do you do when you're not working? What do you do in your free time?
What I like to do is get out into the mountains in the Sierra, Cardellona, Espada, places like that.
Trekking or cycling?
Trekking, yeah.
Trekking?
Yeah.
Do you tend to go further afield in vacation time and go maybe to the north of Spain?
Well,
You've done this Caminos de Santiago, for example?
I've heard about doing that. A friend of mine has actually done that. It took him over a month, obviously. I don't have that much time. No, my holiday plans are to go to Ukraine. But if the opportunity comes to do longer walks, then I would. But I know my geography of this area of Spain is terrible, and I always go on these walks with people who've lived here for a long time. It's usually a mixture of expatriates and Spanish people, and unfortunately the leader, who I just turn up and we go.
It's a club, a walking club?
It's a walking club, yeah, and the leader, he chooses the routes and he looks them up on the map, and well, he tries to avoid us getting lost. It doesn't always happen. But I mean, if I did it by myself, I would be 100% certain to get lost.
Technology, smartphone, sat nav.
Yeah, I've got a smartphone, but I haven't got an internet connection on it, so it's useless.
It probably wouldn't have any coverage out there anyway.
Yeah.
Tony, can you talk a bit about what you hope to do in the future?
Well,
for example, is your contract here for a certain amount of time?
Yeah,
I
expect to be here for about 3 years more, possibly. Then I'll be getting very old. I'll be 57 when that happens. So I would hope to have one more job with the British Council and then retire and set up my own small school somewhere in the world, probably Ukraine.
Ukraine?
Probably, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in a village, probably not in a big city like Kiev, because there are too many language schools there already.
Is it a growing business in Ukraine, English teaching?
Well, I mean, the British Council's very successful there, and it's one of many competing language schools. So I think there's definitely a market for it. Kiev's a big city, 4 million people. So. Yeah.
What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? I think spending quality time with friends and family, that kind of thing. Yeah, being able to relax with friends and family.
And what makes you sad?
When I, do things that upset people, I often do that I do something with the best intentions, but it goes wrong. I end up upsetting somebody. So
I can sympathise completely with that. Which famous person, dead or alive, would you most like to have a beer or have dinner with to talk to?
Well, that's easy. He's dead, unfortunately. He was the lead singer in a group called The Clash. His name's Joe Strummer, and he died in 2002 of a heart attack. He didn't know he had a heart defect. He was born with it. He didn't know. He never knew it, and it killed him when he was 52. Unfortunately,
it wasn't the wild lifestyle and.
Well, I know he used to smoke and drink too much, but on the other hand, he was a marathon runner as well, so he was a reasonably fit man. But he died quite young. I think he was 52 when he died.
In an ideal world, what would your life be like?
In an ideal world, I would basically have enough money to support myself. I've never been motivated by having lots of money, but it would be nice to have enough not to worry about it. Therefore, in order to enjoy the house, the garden, family, friends, that kind of thing, without worrying who's going to pay for it.
Freedom.
Yeah, basically.
Money buys freedom.
Yeah.
If you could change something about yourself, what would you change?
Physically, I think 40 years of beer drinking. I mean, I'd get rid of the stomach, and I'd be less shy as a person, much more outgoing as a person.
If you had €6,000 to spend on yourself, what would you spend it on?
I think I'd buy one of these flash mountain bikes that you see all around Valencia, because it's a great country for cycling here, and I'd like to exploit that a little bit. Yeah.
How can people find out about the British Council English courses in Valencia?
Well, I would say, first of all, go to the British Council Valencia Facebook page, because it's interesting. Then there will be links from the Facebook page. If you want to do a test, you can click on a link to our placement testing booking system from the Facebook page.
Does that take you directly to the British Council Valencia homepage?
No, well, that link takes you to our booking system. So you'll see a list of all the appointments that you can sign up for. But there is a link also to the British Council Valencia page. But we're trying to improve our website, because at the moment it's a bit too complicated. I think from the main British Council Spain website, you have to click 3 or 4 times before you're in Valencia. But we're trying to make that much faster.
Yeah,
so I think
the 2-click rule is pretty. Yeah, if it's more than 2 clicks, then you lose some.
That's right. Clients. That's why I'm saying go to Facebook first, because that's.
So if the students go to Facebook and they go to the booking system, what happens? They book a level test here at the British Council.
Yeah.
Is there a charge for that?
No, it's free.
And then they'll get advice on what courses are available, times and days, and when they can come.
Exactly.
Classes.
Yeah. You get first class level testing experience with some of our teachers. Some of them, I mean, they're all good, but people like Mr. John O'Sullivan, I'll give him a plug here. I mean, the quality of the level testing experience with people like that is really excellent. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome. Leader who, I just turn up and we go.
It's a club.
I can say, hand on heart, the quality was absolutely excellent. resources on them. So, I mean, there's no excuse for not being able to practice outside the classroom anymore.